Hello, my name is Sandy, and you're at Ancestry Road's Webcast, where we discuss Appalachia. Today is a really special day because we are launching our town tour series. In the town tour series, it's a pretty cool way for you to be involved. We want you, our viewers, to tell us about your town. So what's going to happen with our town series is you tell us where you are or where you want to go. If you're willing, come on camera with us to show us your town. Then come on in and we'll get you set up and we'll tell you how to do a town tour with us and come on the webcast. If you're shy, don't worry. We can fix that too. We can talk to local representatives as well. So if you're in Appalachia and you want to show off your town and you want to join us on the webcast, then just contact us at ancestryroads@gmail.com. But to launch our town tour, we have a very special guest. Our guest is our absolute favorite Appalachian, Denton King. Hi, how are you?
Thank you for being your favorite Appalachian.
So, as some of you might know, Denton, from a previous webcast that we talked about Appalachian music and the mountain culture of music, and it's really, really a great show. So if you have not seen that webcast, go back and watch the webcast because we also focus on a lot of Denton's music. And unfortunately, he has a cold today, so there'll be no Danny Boy singing. You'll have to sing at home. So let's talk about where we're at today. We are live from Ireland.
Well, you know what is so great about it? Ireland is a perfect place for you to start because we're all spring people and we're right on the verge of spring here. The weather here today is beautiful. It's in its 70s and the sun is shining. So it's a good time to highlight Ireland.
I think it might also be a pretty good time to highlight something else pretty important. Let me see.
Happy birthday! Happy birthday!
This happens to be Denton's birthday today, March 1st.
Yes, it is.
So, well, you were born in West Virginia.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you for the birthday.
And you were, let's see, you're in Lewis County right now. Ireland is in Lewis County, and that's considered north central Appalachia, but it's kind of in the middle of the state.
Yeah, it's really, we're only 20 miles from the very heart of the state. So, yeah, we're in the southern end of Lewis County. And Lewis County is a beautiful county in and of itself. But we're at the very bottom of the county in the southern end,
and
in the southern panhandle.
You were born just about a county away in Webster County.
Yes.
So
another beautiful county with high mountains and wonderful folks. Yeah. Webster County is one of the most beautiful counties in the whole country.
Well, I'm not going to disagree with you. Anytime I go back to West Virginia, if there's not a trip to Webster County, and it's not right off the interstate, but that's fine. You get to go through another one of our favorite towns, Flatwood, Sutton, to get to Webster Springs in Webster County. So it's all good. But in Ireland, you've got a pretty interesting, it was always pretty much called Ireland, West Virginia, right?
Well, as far as we know, it's always been called Ireland, West Virginia. And by the way, our location is right between three towns. One of them you mentioned, Sutton, Weston in our own county, and Buckhannon in the neighboring Upshur County. We're right in the middle of those three towns. And it's a good place for us to be because we get the part of the culture from each of those towns. And yes, we've always been called Ireland as far as we know. And I think you have it on your...
Let's go. We're going to bring up a little short video, about a 2-minute video. We're going to kind of sit back and watch this video with everybody as we give you a little bit of history on Ireland. Now, also, when we start to get into the middle of the video, we're going to talk a little bit about the Irish Spring Festival, which Ireland is known for, and it's this month. So as you start to see some of these really fun pictures, And we'll talk about it after the video. But that's actually of the Irish Spring Festival that's in Ireland, West Virginia, every March. So let's look at the video. I love that video, but I absolutely love the gentleman on the tractor. I love that. It makes me want to have a big barn with a big tractor so I can do the parade. So
Well,
this
you can do the parade in a wagon, or one year I pulled a potato on a roller skate, and my theme was this festival is no small potatoes.
Now, you correct me if I'm wrong, but you and your wife Sandy kind of helped start this to try and bring tourism and money into your town.
Well, actually, what happened is back in the middle '70s, people started wondering why is the town called Ireland? Nobody knew. It was just something lost. And also at that time, other communities were just dropping off the map because there was no identity or anything for them to hold on to. Schools were closing, churches were closing, those kind of things were happening. And we just needed to find some identity. And they found out that Ireland was named from this old guy who came and settled the place. And he became affectionately known by the people as Old Ireland. And he, from what we can tell, and we're not positive at this point, but at the time it looked like he lived to be 114. I think he voted for Monroe and died the day or two afterwards. And so he lived to be 114. And we've found since that time that, well, that's our story and we're sticking to it.
There's a different story here, I think. But I
Well,
think it's great because you are right. Obviously this was happening probably worldwide, but definitely in the United States. But I can guarantee you, it was definitely happening in Appalachia where towns were disappearing. And I know this as an odd circumstance because my husband and I, around the same time, we were seeing a lot of small old churches coming up for sale, and people were buying them to live in them. They weren't buying them to have a church service or anything. And at the time, we kept thinking, well, that's different. That's odd. But these communities, if you lose your store, your one, it's smaller communities, your one big store or your church or your community center, you're losing the town.
yeah. Well, you have to go back and kind of look at the history. This area was subsistence farming mostly, or timbering. I mean, we had timbering going on, but in either case, you needed big families to sustain farms and timbering. And many families had 10, 15 kids. And, but, years later, when they started leaving the area and going to the northern towns for jobs, there was no one left. And those churches and those schools that were full of kids were no longer full of kids.
And we see that as genealogists. We kind of laugh at this a lot of times when we're working in genealogy. Let's pick up around 1850. I think you said Ireland first post office box was 1847. So around 1850, we're still seeing Appalachians have a lot of kids. But then we start to see as the 1900s come around, they're leaving for those jobs. The highway, Rust Highway up to factories and things like that. So it's interesting that you brought this concept and said, we're going to have an Irish Spring Festival. So that very first festival, what year was that?
I think that was 81, I believe. 81 or 82. 82, I believe.
So how organized were you on that first festival? What did you do?
Well, what was interesting is just a bunch of people got together and started talking about what are we going to do, And of course, a parade has to happen. And, we wanted it to be lighthearted, not something that was heavy and difficult, but something fun. We wanted to have not fundraisers, and this is kind of a pun on words, but fundraising. We wanted to do fundraising. So we did the parade. We knew that we had to have a dance. We had to have king and queen, and we decided the king and queen needed to be older people because we're honoring old Ireland here who lived to be 114. And we had other people in the area at that time who lived to be in their hundreds. And we thought, well, maybe there is something about the lifestyle here in Ireland that kind of caters to living an older age. So we went with that. And
so you have to be 60, I think, right? 60
right,
years old
yes, you have to be 60. At this point, I think when we first started, you had to be over 65, maybe even 70. But we started running out of candidates, so we had to drop the age.
No, and I think I remember you just said too that if you reach 100, you get to run again.
Yeah, well, I've got to give myself away. I've always said that I was not going to run until I was 100 years old, and then I would run every year. Well, after a heart attack, I realized that I might not make it to 100, so I'm running this year. So,
and this is a good story too. So to run, if I understand it, at the local store, there are mason jars with everybody's name that's running.
Well, we've upgraded from mason jars and done a nice little wooden box where all the names of the candidates are on that, and you can drop pennies in the slot, and every penny is a vote.
So if I go in there with 20 pennies for the same person, I just keep putting them in that box for that person. And then the next question is, do you guys take checks?
Well, you know what?
Or do you have to be there? You have to be a local.
Well, somebody protects it. You know, there people are honest about it.
Yeah.
But it used to be, when we had the jars, that people would say the one with the heaviest jar was, you know, they would think the heaviest jar was going to win, but it was usually the lightest jar, because bills were going in the lightest jar and coins were going in the heavy jar.
So who gets the task of counting?
Well, the CEOS, that's Community Education Outreach Services. That's sponsored by the university, West Virginia University. It's a great organization, and Ireland has a very active organization. They're really the reason for the festival, because they're the organization who finally took up the task of organizing everything and putting it all together. They're the ones that did it, and our whole CEOS organization in Lewis County is marvelous, and the local club is just fantastic. So they put it all together, and they're the ones that go get the containers and bring them in and count them while everybody's square dancing, and then about 9 o'clock the envelope is opened and we announce the winners. Yeah.
And then the king and queen reign for a whole year.
They reign for a whole year. Hopefully they will choose a project of some kind and kind of implement a project during the year, and then their picture gets put on the wall, and it's there forever, as long as the building lasts. And we have one big wall in our community center devoted to the kings and queens of previous years.
And that's pretty good. Now, to go back to the presentation that we did in November, we made a video of Hillbilly Ways, a song that Denton wrote and sings. And it's of your friend, one of your very, very good friends, that we dedicated that video to, who was, him and his wife were a king and queen.
They were not only king and queen, they were both in their 90s when they ran for king and queen, and they got it. And they had been married for 71 years.
Wow.
When they got that got the job as king and queen.
Wow. So, okay. So the festival, for those of you that want to know, and I pinned it at the top, but also down in the description, I left the link. They have a fabulous Facebook page. And on the Facebook page, they detail every event. And Aaron just reminded me about the party. There are so many events jam-packed into this festival that I'm telling you, you will go home tired after the weekend. You will have so much fun with it. There's a gospel sing. There's the parade going through. You have your square dance. Your voting goes on. And what new thing do you have this year? Do you have a new event this year?
I just can't tell you what the new things maybe are, but I would like to speak just a little bit to one of the most attractive things that we have is road bowling.
Yes, please do.
And we get phone calls from all over the country about road bowling. I'm literally talking about, we have radio stations from California and just other states all over the place calling, wanting to know about the Irish Spring Festival, and specifically, most of all, about road bowling. And typically, it's what we want to promote is road bowling as a family sport, and it's fun. It's just absolutely fun. You end up running down the road chasing a steel cannonball, and before you know it, you've got all kind of exercise, and you've enjoyed it too. And it just is such a simple thing. It's like playing golf. The fewest number of rolls between an approximate 2-mile stretch of backcountry road. Of course, the ball goes off the road, goes into the creek. You've got to try to get it. You got to find it when it goes in the ditch and gets buried in the mud. And I mean, people come back looking like they've been on a trip from, I don't know where. But road bowling is a big attraction.
It's almost like a semi-pro sport, correct? I mean, it is everywhere throughout the U.S. I don't know. Now we do have our Irish member in the chat. Maybe Irish John can tell us if they have roll bowling over in his part of Ireland. I believe he's from County Wicklow. And from what I understand, you have some serious competitors that come.
Oh, they do. We have people that basically road bowling exists in the United States in 3 centers. That's Boston, New York, and Ireland, West Virginia. Mm-hmm. And we also work with the people in Ireland. There's a professional regulatory organization that we work through in doing road bowling. And it's I guess you would say it's a semi-pro sport. I don't know if the people in Ireland actually pay their players or not, but here it's volunteer. But we've had some players, specifically Travis Craig, who has gone from here and gone to Ireland, Holland, and he's played all over the country and other countries as well in competition.
And it's, from my understanding, it is, the pros don't always win. It's always the weather conditions, the event, how much fun you put into it. So I don't want to scare people away from getting a team. How many are on a team?
Well, typically we encourage, for the Irish Spring Festival, we encourage 4 people on a team because you're rolling 2 miles. Typically that's not what a typical match would be between 2 or 3 road bowlers. But for a 2-mile course, it's exercise and fun and family fun. And that's what it's all about. It's all about family fun. There's we used to give trophies, but anymore, I think people find that it's fun in and of itself. You don't need trophies. So
I agree. I think that especially after COVID, people are wanting to get out. They're wanting to come back. So did you guys have the festival during COVID? Probably not.
No, we had to close down the first year of COVID. We had a couple of activities before we were told by the health department that they encouraged us to close, so we did. And then last year was our first year back. The previous year, I think we had an opportunity to do a couple of events, but typically COVID shut us down. But this year should be back in full tilt. So,
and I bet you'll have quite a bit of people show up because, like I said, I know almost everywhere we're ready. We're ready to leave our homes and get back to what we enjoy. And I know there's another person in our chat, Randall, that says this is a highlight for him every spring to come to the Irish Spring Festival in Ireland. I know that. So where would I start? I would go and stay nearby because Ireland does not have hotels, correct?
No, you have to find a bed and breakfast or a motel in Weston, Buckhannon, or Clarksburg, or Sutton, Flatwoods area. Those each are up. Clarksburg is a little farther away. Weston, Buckhannon, and Flatwoods are about 20 miles away, and you can stay there. I think there are probably some places. Well, the Stonewall Jackson Resort,
I was just going to say,
has rooms as well, and they take a lot of guests during that time of the year too.
And I know there's also, for those of you that are like us that camp, there's camping. There's I want to say, well, I won't say the name brand. There's a name brand campground at Flatwoods, Stonewall Jackson Resort. I don't know if they do camping during the winter or during this early spring, but give them a try. We've camped there as well, and like this. So you have many different alternatives for lodging. Does it cost to come to your festival?
One of the things that we wanted to do when we started the festival was to make it available to families.
Mhm.
And we didn't want it to be an expense. The food is unbelievably cheap. I don't want to say cheap, inexpensive. It's delicious and inexpensive both. And there is no admission charge for anything.
The
Now for
square
road,
dancing's free. The parade.
everything is free. The only thing we have to charge for is road bowling. We ask $5 for the road bowls when they start.
Mhm.
If they bring the road bowls back, they get their $5 back.
Oh, so you supply. So
We
if
supply.
if I don't have the equipment, you supply it.
Yeah, we have them available.
Oh,
Yes.
that's awesome. So it's great. So anybody could show up. And I also believe I remember reading that there's a harpist and you have harp lessons for those who want to learn.
Absolutely, and it's one of the sweetest things we do. Um, I like to go to the harp festival because we're running from one event to another,
Mhm.
just staying busy.
Mhm.
Almost all of us who are involved in the festival, because there's so few of us to do so many things. And once in a while, when you have the opportunity to go in and sit down when they're playing the harps at church in this quiet place, it's hard to keep your eyes open.
Hmm.
It is I mean, it's just so relaxing and so wonderful. And we have harpists, some really well-known harpists who come to participate in that. And it was started by a fellow who called his organization Harping for Harmony.
Oh, I
And
like that.
we've continued it over the years, and we have a local person who teaches it, and she knows what she's doing.
Mhm.
That's Hannah. You can tell Hannah you want to come and learn how to play the harp, and she'll show you how.
I
We
think she
we
must
even have
have
harps for
patience.
kids.
Oh, do you? I was gonna say, I think she must have patience. I remember in the Appalachian music presentation that you and I did together, you made a comment about there's a song that I really like, Mountain Gospel Banjo. And I was asking you, why did you write this song? And you said, well, you knew somebody who plays the banjo very, very well, and you wanted to write a song for him. And then you paused and you said, because if you ever hear a banjo not played well, it's one of the worst things in the world. So I'm sitting there thinking, if Hannah must have a tremendous amount of patience to teach the harp to all different age groups, and all of us, some of us might have musical abilities and some of us might not.
Well, believe it or not, it's a matter of plucking on the right string. I mean, that's what it comes down to. And if you know how to pluck on the right string, you can make something come out of that harp that sounds good. And if you don't pluck on the right string, it doesn't sound bad. So
So you're
so
saying,
Hannah she has patience, but we do have kids. We have harps that are just kid size.
now are those, we have a question, are those lap harps, or are those the ones that we picture, the tall standing harps that she
we,
has?
we have one of the tall
Mhm.
harps. The others range in different sizes from there down to
Small.
something like that. Yeah.
And
So
that's
about
free.
50.
And that's also free.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
So you guys really put this festival together to get families there, to get families to enjoy the outdoors and have fun, and at low cost.
Yes. And the main event that we use to continue the festival is the King and Queen race. Um, we have funds from that to help keep the lights on in the community
Mhm.
center all year, and also to help us to get started for the next year's event. and there's not a big carryover budget from one year to the next. So it's not a money-making thing. It's a fun-making thing.
And I should mention, since Denton mentioned it as well, that community center is used all year round by the community. So when you come to your end, you buy the food or you put your pennies in for the king and queen, you're actually helping that community directly. This is a direct event that the money actually stays in the community. And well, I guess we could take a quick pause for a second, because we're talking about families coming in, coming back, and enjoying. And we're also talking about coming back from COVID, where everybody was stuck in your house, and coming back to festivals, to these towns that desperately need your attendance to continue to survive. And with that said, we cannot have our favorite Appalachian on this webcast without some of his music. So why don't we play one of you're just one of the best known songs that you're known for. It's just, if you're in West Virginia and you hear Country Roads, then we know that song. But also, Denton's very, very well known for the song West Virginia's Coming Home. And that's what we're hoping. They're going to come home and come to the festival. So let's go ahead and let me add that to the
Here
screen.
she comes. Can you hear her noise? She's got loads of them West Virginia boys. Hear her coming round the hill. We never thought she'd be back home, but I guess she will. They are diamonds, and they are pearls, and she's got a load of them West Virginia girls. And they got more curves than the railroad tracks, and those West Virginia girls are coming back. West Virginians are coming home to the green rolling hills they love to roam. Count them crossing the county line. Clickety-clack, they're coming back, hear those engines whine. Can you see her coming? See her fountain of smoke? She's got a load of them mountain folk, raised on the good book and some Mountain Dew, singing a song all the way along to a mountain tune. West Virginians are coming home to the green rolling hills they love to roam. Count them crossing the county line. Clickety-clack, they're coming back, hear those engines whine. See me coming, can you see my smile? I'm on that train and I'll be home in a little while. When I step down from that rolling train, I'll kiss the ground and all the folks around and never leave again. West Virginians are coming home to the green rolling hills they love to roam. Count them crossing the county line. Clickety-clack, they're coming back, hear those engines whine. Clickety-clack, they're coming back, hear those engines whine. Clickety-clack, they're coming back, hear those engines whine.
I love this song. You can't help but it bounce around. And I want to point out too, in the last shots of that video, the Lewis County CVB, I want to thank them also, because they shared this webcast as well to try and get more people to find out about the town of Ireland, West Virginia, as well as the Irish Spring Festival. So thank you, Lewis County CVB. We appreciate that as well. So talk to us about the food. We're Appalachians. We need to know what food is there.
Well, I can tell you that some years ago we started off with, again, a lot of tongue in cheek here in this food stuff. We have the Blarney dog, and it's made with very special sauce made by Jackie. And she makes the best sauce in the whole world, let me tell you.
We're talking about sauce, not chili.
We're talking about, you put chili on your hot dog in
I was
West
going to
Virginia.
say, yeah.
Okay, in West Virginia, you put chili on your hot dog.
There's and coleslaw. You got to have, the hot dog has to I prefer mustard, but you got to have chili and coleslaw. It's called a West Virginia slaw dog. Have to have it.
Yeah,
So,
or onions,
or
or
onions here.
sauerkraut. You can, all that works. But in West Virginia, and that's chili sauce, not chili with the beans and all that. Anyhow, that's the Blarney dog, and it is very good, and it's inexpensive, and you can eat 30 of them, and it won't hurt you.
Well, it sounds like you need a Blarney dog eating contest.
You know what? I don't think we have had one, but that might be something to do. I think the ladies that work the kitchen, though, would probably frown on that. They're so busy putting them out anyway. They would have a hard time doing that. We do have the fried potato contest. Now, again, in West Virginia, if you're from West Virginia, fried potatoes are a staple. Breakfast,
noon, dinner, midnight, 1 a.m. Yes.
Right. Anytime, fried potatoes are the thing, and they go with anything. They as you say, they go with breakfast, they go with lunch, they go. Fried potatoes, cornbread, and beans is probably the best Appalachian food that you can find anywhere, and they do excellent work with all three of those. Well, we don't offer fried potatoes in the kitchen. That's a contest. That's a separate contest completely.
Oh, so people come to
people enter the contest. Fried potatoes. We have judges set up to judge the potatoes on who did the best, and a prize is given to the winner.
Sign me up as judge. Every year, I'll live to 150 eating fried potatoes.
Hey, you've got to get in line. We've got a lot of people wanting to be the judge.
Now I'm the odd duck because I'm the firstborn outside of West Virginia, so I bring my Old Bay from Maryland. So that's all right.
That might work.
So what other food do we have to look forward to?
Well, I don't know that they're serving them this year. It got to be difficult finding the right stuff. I guess I can blame the supply chain. But we were having a unicorn beef sandwich.
Oh.
That was unique corned beef sandwich, and we called it unicorn beef sandwich.
That wouldn't be the Appalachian accent there, would it?
I don't know what it was. Again, a lot of what we do is in a lighthearted kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
But the food is always good. They offer, of course, cinnamon buns in the morning and apple dumplings and things like that. I mean, if you want to gain weight, come to Ireland. Then if you want to lose weight, go road bowling, and you won't have to worry about whatever you ate.
I have a feeling you got to stop eating at least 2 hours before the road bowling, so you can actually do the road bowling.
There you go.
So that's pretty funny. So in the parade, no motor vehicles.
Well, when we started the parade, the idea was we wanted the kids to be involved. We wanted to see bicycles and you know, whatever, tricycles even. We have dogs pulling carts. We have four-wheelers and side-by-sides and those kind of things now, and tractors pulling hay wagons and stuff. But we discourage cars and trucks. And at some point in time, we might say, hey, let's have a separate parade just for cars and trucks. You know, I don't know. But, you know, it's all about encouraging kids. And the kids have come up with some really, really creative floats. I think back to the years that we had the war going on in the Far East,
mm-hmm.
or in the East, and the kids made up a bunch of tanks and ships and stuff. I mean, big,
wow,
out cardboard that they look so real. I mean, it was just amazing what they came up with and how they did it. And I mean, that's just only one of many things they come up with. It's remarkable to see their creativity.
And again, I want to mention that the link to the Irish Spring Festival Facebook page is down in the description, and definitely check it out. They have the entire schedule, and I did not print it out because it is a lot. You will have fun. You will get out, get some fresh air. Your kids will love it. If you're single, go. You might meet somebody from Ireland that could be your future, So, because I heard the Blarney Rock is there, and you make a trip to the Blarney Rock, but I was not provided a picture of the Blarney Rock.
Well, the Blarney Rock is kind of a secret. You kind of have to be there to see it. You have to come to Ireland to see it. And then you can determine on your own whether or not you're willing to make the climb to the Blarney Rock after you see where it is. But it's interesting. The Blarney Rock was a stone that sets on top of the hill, a huge stone. And it looks like it's ready to roll off at any moment. And when you go to the stone, the rock, you're concerned about getting up on it because you feel like you might roll with it right down the hill. But the chances of that happening are not likely at all. And we go to the Blarney Rock to announce the beginning of spring. That's one of the things that we love about the festival, is going to Blarney Rock and announcing spring, because those of us who work the festival know that that's the last event. And once we get that done, we can start to breathe again.
And if you saw the video earlier, spring, yes, maybe towards the calendar, but there's been some snowy events. And is it true that all the residents, if you live in the town of Ireland, you agree to show to the festival?
We have a pledge. It's the pledge of weather regardless. Regardless of the weather, you attend all the events. Rain or shine, snow or fine. May we all be out for the time.
Well, I tell you what. So we're gonna take just a moment break as to give you guys time to ask any questions afterwards. I do have 2 quick questions to ask myself before we wrap it up. So I'm gonna give a quick break, and we'll be back in less than a minute. Okay, that gave Denton and I a chance to. Denton's recovering from a cold, and I'm ready for the cold to leave my home. So a little break, but that shows you a little bit of what's coming up after this webcast. This month, we are full of really interesting guests, including Foxfire. For those of you that have the book or the magazine when you were a child, they're going to join us, as well as the Appalachian Women's Museum, who will demonstrate airing of the quilts. So pretty cool. And then come back definitely in May. We have a very, very large mining special for 5 weeks. We have coal miners coming in talking to us about life in the day. We have 2 experts talking about black lung. We have an advocacy group for the coal miners with black lung and mine safety. And we got to have something to talk about what's next with the coal mine. So we have a reclaim professional coming in and telling us the great work that they're doing for reclaiming. If you're from Appalachia, there are chances are you have coal miners in your family. And so we brought together this event, and that'll be in May. Since you guys are here now, make sure to click the thumbs up button for like, and also to subscribe so you never miss an event, because I do have an ulterior plan that he does not know about to bring Denton back for a more serious topic. And you never know when that'll happen. So click subscribe and you'll never miss one of our episodes. Okay, so if you have any questions, now's a good time to come up with questions. And I know that I saw one that was really intriguing, and you'll probably recognize this one. This is from Nick. Surprise, surprise. Do you get a lot of visitors from the country Ireland to
Yeah,
Ireland, West Virginia?
the other Ireland. Yeah, yes, we do get a lot of, well, when you say a lot, we get visitors from Ireland, yeah. And we've had, road bowlers from Ireland, of course. And we've had people from Ireland there. They're curious as to what's going on in their little community. So once in a while, we'll have some show up.
That's pretty cool. And then speaking of Ireland, I call him Irish John, my friend from Ireland. Is there something for people who don't like hot, spicy hot dogs? And I would say, John, fried potatoes, apple dumplings.
Well, yeah, there's other foods besides that. They have, again, I think beans and cornbread's one of the staples a lot of people like. I don't know if you like that, but if you haven't had beans and cornbread, you've missed most of what Appalachia is all about.
Well, we do laugh. John and I laugh along with some of the others that know John also in the chat that we're going to take a Gilligan's Island boat to Ireland to go see him, but he's going to have to take it back to come to Appalachia for the food, because we talk about the food and a lot of times he has no idea what we're talking about. So I agree with Mahavli. She says she may not be from Appalachia, but she grew up on beans and cornbread. And, this is the time, beans, cornbread, the chicken and dumplings as well. And John wanted us to know there's the Blarney Stone in Kerry where you kiss it and gives you the gift to gab. So the question is, what does your Blarney Stone do, Denton?
Well, it gives you the opportunity to announce spring, one of the greatest events that happens all year long, and you get to announce it yourself. That's it. And I wanted to just mention, you mentioned about people from Ireland coming here. One of the other things that's about this community of Ireland is the terrain of this area is very similar, from what I understand, from much of what Ireland is like as well. So we're in the foothills of the Appalachians, and it's kind of the rolling hills. And this time of year, those hills start to turn green. And it's just coming for that reason is enough.
I would agree. And also, like I keep mentioning, and I mention it because this is how I feel. It's time for us to come out of our homes. It's time for us to go back to the communities and support these communities with their festivals. Enjoy it. Have a good time. Don't sit in the home anymore. Or the government and the officials are saying, go out. And that's what we should do, because as I mentioned, the money is going directly to these communities. And these are small communities. How many would you say live in Ireland?
Well, you realize Ireland is a very small community geographically.
Yeah.
So if you look at just how many people live in the small community of Ireland, there's probably about 50 to 100 or no more than that. But around the countryside, people who have the address of Ireland or Walkersville, which is a close by area, there would be, a lot more people. But again, it's not a town, it's a community. And much like all the communities that existed back in the early part of the century, they're just little collection of homes where people got along well. And they enjoyed each other's company. And again, that's part of what we want our festival to be, an opportunity for people to just come and enjoy.
And like you said before, so the community really started mostly timber, you think? These weren't coal miners. Were they mostly timber?
There may have been some small coal mining going on in the area, especially as the neighboring county of Webster County had a lot of coal mines. But mostly the people who lived in this area back in the early 1900s were subsistence farmers. So they were just families trying to make a go of it. So we had timber was also a part of it at that time, but timber was not producing the prices that it does today because there was so much of it at that time.
And I think if any of you are genealogists, you'll be familiar with some of the areas in Appalachia. Almost everybody was a farmer. You farmed the land as well.
Well, there was no other way to make a living to eat. I mean, to eat and have a shelter, it was farming that did it for you. And there was some other jobs around that people did there, of course, but typically farming was the thing that everybody in this community was doing.
So then let's finish up with the one question that's probably the biggest question. Why do you love your town?
I love my town because of the people. They're just fantastic. And they help each other. They look out for each other. During times that we don't have a festival or we don't have springtime, they're out there doing things for each other, bringing in their firewood or shoveling snow for them or whatever they need to do. I experienced that personally this year after having a heart attack. People come in and did things for me that I couldn't do. And that's exactly what I love about this town is the people.
You can tell. You can tell that you feel it here. And I will tell you that is the true spirit of what we see from Appalachians. It really truly is. A lot of people will come to me and say, well, what's so different, or what are Appalachians that they are community based or town based? Why do you narrow them down to it, calling them an Appalachian? Are they embarrassed to be called an Appalachian? I go, no, they're not. They pull together. They come together to help everybody because they want everybody to succeed as well.
Yes, we do. We don't have so many people that people are in your way.
Mm-hmm.
We have people here, and we value each other, and we want the best for everyone. And I think you'll find that spirit exists in nearly everybody in this community. They value everybody else.
I think you're right. And I know Ireland. I know the county well. I spent my summers there all the time, and I would say that think about coming to the Irish Spring Festival. I believe is it the 16th?
Well, the gospel sing I think is the 12th. I've got a flyer here. I don't remember. The gospel sing is Sunday, March the 12th. And that is it's kind of like a precursor event. Mm-hmm. We always have it the week before the festival starts because the spring gospel sing was 2 years prior to the festival. And actually the festival kind of sprung out of that gospel sing. So we still kind of keep them together, but it starts on the 12th. Then we try to make sure that St. Patrick's Day and the first day of spring are included in the activities of the festival.
So then the next weekend after the 12th, starts on Friday, or do you?
Yeah, it starts actually on Thursday. We have a Thursday event where we introduce all the candidates for King and Queen, and it's kind of like their reception and have some entertainment and that kind of thing that goes on. And it's an opportunity for the community to kind of pull together to see what's going on for the festival. And it's also good for people who we invite in just for the entertainment. Then Friday is when we have the King and Queen coronation and a square dance. And the square dance is a hoot. I mean, it's a lot of fun. And we have a lot of young people now who are wanting to learn the square dance. It's interesting that we're getting so many young people wanting to square dance.
I love that. I love the old traditions are still being kept. They're not disappearing and letting them go. And just to recap for everybody, even though this is a community that puts this on, they welcome everybody. They want you to come. So if you come in, they're going to envelop you and treat you as their own. Don't feel shy. Don't feel embarrassed that you're walking into a community event. You don't know anybody. 5 minutes in, you'll know everybody. Trust me. And if you're interested in going to visit Ireland, West Virginia specifically for the Irish Spring Festival, again, as Denton said, remember Flatwoods, Buchanan, and Weston. Those are the 3 closest areas that you will find a place to stay. I can tell you personally, again, there's the chain hotels, there's campgrounds in all 3 areas, now that I think about it, that I've been to. And Airbnbs are around too. And Stonewall Jackson Resort, if you want to have a little bit more luxurious stay, Stonewall Jackson Resort is a fabulous place. They have golf, they have fishing as well. And if you decide to come in the week beforehand for the gospel sing and you want to stay the entire week, I promise you, reach out to me or reach out to Denton. I promise you, you will not be sitting in a hotel board. There are so many things that you can do for that week. So if you're wanting to get out of the house and get to West Virginia, go for the gospel sing. Denton and I will help you plan your week and then show up Thursday for the Irish Spring Festival in Ireland, West Virginia, the other Ireland.
The other Ireland.
Well, I appreciate you coming on the webcast, especially on your birthday. And this is a pretty poignant one because, as Denton mentioned, he is recovering from a heart attack. He won't tell you this, but this was not that long ago that he had one. So I appreciate you coming on the webcast, but also on your birthday. It's a pretty special event for me to be here with Denton as well, because you never know. And why, I guess the question I have is, where does everybody send their pennies to try and get you to be king?
Well, I could say they just send them to me. I got a bunch of pennies well, it was a check today in the mail to put in. I should say, send them to Sandy King.
Okay. She'll
make sure she's honest with it and put it in the right place. And if you want to vote for somebody else, send them to her. And I shouldn't give my address, I don't think.
No, but I will tell you, I will also say that, again, the Facebook page in the description below has the details on everybody that's running for King and Queen. They do a fabulous job for that Facebook page. They are actually in cahoots with us today with this webcast, and they helped advertise it as well. And we want to thank that Irish Spring Festival and everybody who works it and organizes it, because it is a lot of work. It is a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun as well. So remember, it's a penny a vote to vote for the king or queen. And if you are local, or even if you're a genealogist, you'll recognize a lot of those last names. You could do that as well, or always just bring your pennies over for Denton. And this is his first year running. You've had many years opportunities to run, and you decided this was the year.
They can vote if they come to the festival. They can vote at the festival up until about 7 o'clock, I think, on Friday night.
On Friday night. So that's really good. So thanks again for joining us, everybody. I appreciate it. And I just want to point out again that Denton is here to kick off our series of town tours, where we invite you, the viewers, to show off your town. And if you want to show off your town, let us know. AncestryRoads@gmail.com. Tell us who you are. Tell us where your town is, and we'll hook up, and you could be on a future webcast with us. Other than that, I guess the last thing to say is happy birthday.
Thank you. And I want to just say, looks like you've got a great lineup coming up. Thank you.
We do. It'll be exciting. So we hope to see you back, and a lot of others back as well. Bye, everybody. Have a good week.
Bye-bye.
Have a good weekend.